If you have or are going through gray divorce, you're certainly not alone. Tune in today for a discussion on gray divorce stories. Thanks for joining us on another segment of Second Act TV. Barry agreed to stay over one more time to talk about his book, Divorce Stories.
Gray divorce stories, yes.
Gray divorce stories. Divorce stories. Unfortunately, we're gray.
Yeah.
And of course, those of the viewers that don't understand, because sometimes to us, gray divorce, we know exactly what that is, but it does refer to divorce after 50, meaning the gray hair, which has become a phenomena, and thus your website, divorceover50.com.
Right.
So Barry, the book you wrote, you feature 18 people,
Right.
of which only 2 were men?
There were 4 men
Four
out
men.
of the 18. Yeah. And it just I don't know why that is. I cannot answer the question. I actually put out a special call for more men to sign up and help me out, because in the initial round I had none. And then it was like, hey guys, I put out an email, guys, help me out here, please. No, I don't know if more women use my site and were exposed to the solicitation, or if just women are more open and more willing to talk about things. I think that could be both.
I really enjoyed the book. I enjoyed the stories. I found something to identify in each one, some very, very close even. What are some of the, like you said, tidbits that you found most interesting?
Well, I thought, for instance, one of the women knew she was getting divorced, and she began to prepare for it. She began working on herself. She went into therapy. She began to do, I believe, meditation and maybe Tai Chi, that sort of thing. I think a lot of people in this situation know there is a very common thing to be thinking, well, when my youngest gets out of high school and it's just the 2 of us at home, I'm ready to go. I will have done my job. I can bail. I found it was interesting too. A lot of the women talked about being hit on by younger men, and that phenomenon. I have a feeling you can relate to that.
A little bit when on the online side, no appeal to me whatsoever.
Truly, though, the thing that comes through is it's difficult. It's a hard thing to go through, but you really can come out of it better off. For many of them, they had reached the point of being better off. For some, they knew that was still to come. There was one, too, a woman who really made a strong point that women need to be proactive, that they don't need to sit back and wait. They have every right to make the decision to get out, and then once they are out, they can take control of their finances, they can take control of their lives, they can date who they want, they can do whatever they want.
And we have every right to be happy. Like we said in every time we talk, we don't advocate this. It is, but this is a phenomenon of our generation for numerous reasons. The least of which is we live longer.
Yeah.
And marriage really, I think somebody said that in your book, or maybe you did. The "Until Death Do Us Part" was written a long time ago when we died earlier.
Yes, no, that's clearly a big part of this whole gray divorce thing.
Yeah.
Marriage, as my understanding, marriage is an institution that began when people lived to about 50 years of age. Well, now, realistically, if you make it to 50, you probably have 30 more years to go. It would be great if you wanted to spend the next 30 with that same spouse. That'd be fabulous.
Absolutely.
We'd all agree that would be the best thing. But it doesn't always happen that way.
Right.
And a lot of people are getting out. A lot of people, I think, stay in and are unhappy. And I think that was one of the things I remember one of the women mentioning, that she didn't want to look back in her 80s and go, oh, I should have gotten out when I 30 years ago, here I spent this period of time just miserable. And I'm entitled, like you say, I'm entitled to be happy.
Right, exactly.
We're big proponents of that. We're not advocating for divorce. If it is working, if you can make it work, that's great. Yeah. We're all for that.
Yeah. Well, and it just does feel very good when you are miserable to know that you're not the only one out there like this. And, so in that sense, I am an advocate of, you don't have to save your marriage.
No, I agree.
If you want to, yes, but you don't have to.
Yes.
And I'll probably get, criticized for saying that. But that's the way I feel.
I would take the criticism. It's again, we're saying it's not ideal. It's not the plan.
Right.
It's better if you can make it work, but you don't have to. It was in what you were saying about the feeling of not being alone. That came through. It's interesting. Again, if people want to check out the book on Amazon, of course, please do. I hope you will. But look at the comments, because people who've read it have commented, and one of them was exactly that a woman saying that it helped me feel that I wasn't so alone. Another said, I wish if I'd read this, I would have gotten married out of my marriage 10 years ago if this had been available then, or I'd seen it. That may have been a little oversold, but that's why I suggest people take a look at that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. I stayed 10 years more than I should have, and my husband's happy again, and it's all it's all good. It really is. That's not to say it was easy.
Yeah.
But some, it was worth it, and I think we would all agree. So, like Barry said, if you are thinking about it, if it's something that, pick up the book. The stories might even make you stay.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting. I hadn't really thought of that, but you're absolutely right. Some people might read it and say, you know what, I don't want to go through this.
Right.
That doesn't sound right to me. I'm going to try a little harder, and that's a good thing. I think that's fine. And I'll make one other quick point. And I say this in the afterword of the book, that it occurred to me in putting it all together that a book like this, even though it's aimed at people in their 50s, this would not be a bad thing to show to your kids.
I agree, yes.
This is they can read about real life situations and what went wrong in marriages. So before they even get into that situation, hear what people did wrong. A lot of times, for instance, communication was a big issue. That came up a lot. It might not be a bad idea to let your kids take a look and say, here are people, this could be down the road. Let's avoid
this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
exactly. No, it's a great read, Barry. It's it definitely will help somebody. You will get something out of it, and I encourage everybody to pick it up. So we'll link to the Amazon page, to your site, and hope to talk to you again soon on another episode of
Always
Second Act TV. Okay, thanks. I hope you found today's information helpful. For more information about Gray Divorce, please visit our website. You can also click on the video link next to me, and please be sure to subscribe to our channel. Button's right here.